What's up out there, everyone? Happy Saturday, Saturday public live stream. So the first of every month, and if I check here correctly, it's November 1st. You have to go live, then adjust it, basically, kind of thing. Okay, so the first Saturday of every month now, I'm still doing the public live stream right here. I can see all your comments out there. You've got a lot of weird names, but Ozzy Farrow, I see your name. Kathy, I see you as well. Thank you so much. Let's see, what else we got here? Josh, Greg Levinson, hello. Edgar, Frank Carlo, 2699. Still a little small for me, the words. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. Still, like I said, first Saturday of every month I'm going to do these. I want to talk about some music theory stuff that's going to be pretty easy. I think pretty easy, applicable stuff. I just started with the 8-bar blues, which has been crazy. I've been going back and forth. I mean, not that I need to, but I've been going back and forth on Instagram with this guy who's a guitar teacher. And I did the 8-bar blues clip, and he said, Marty, I'm counting 12-bar blues. So, like I was wrong, and I checked out the video again, and I counted through, okay, no, it's 8 bars. Then he sent me a direct message, I'm still counting 12 bars. So I said, well, no, it's definitely 8 bars. And he's like kind of insisting that I'm wrong and that he's a guitar teacher. And I was like, okay, I'm being very respectful. And he was respectful to me too, but just that I was wrong. So I watched the YouTube video I made on it just to make sure I was not, incorrect. No, it's still 8 bars. He's still writing me that I'm wrong. So then I write a little chart out, go out of my way in a very respectful way. Go write out the chart and I count through it. No, it's 8 bars. It's 8 bars. And anyway, long story short, I was like, maybe you should check with like a guitar teacher because I can't, I've explained it a bunch of times now on a back and forth, and I know that it's in 8-bar blues. And then I said, maybe you should talk to a guitar teacher, and he got, pretty offended because he says he's been playing guitar longer than me. So I just couldn't win with him. But anyway, that was what's called an 8-bar blues. That's not the music theory I'm going to talk about today. But just to show you how that's 8 bars instead of 12 bars, I'm going to count the bars for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. So that was 4 bars. 5, 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3. Sorry, counting and talking at the same time. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 8 bars, and it starts over again. So it's a cool kind of, and that's what I was playing in the intro. Here's what it sounds like without me counting. But it's 8 counts of 4 before it starts over, which is different than the 12-bar blues. Really fun. I think It Hurts Me Too is a blues song that uses that. But anyway, let's talk about music theory. I'm going to go to the key of C major because there's no sharps or flats. And I'm going to specifically talk about chords. Kevin Venter says, Johnny be good. Johnny Be Good, I love it. I don't know if you guys saw, I did a Gibson guitar, my monthly Gibson guitar event, and it was landed on the day before Halloween. So the whole band, me and the whole band, were all Star Wars characters. So that was super fun. And then because I was in the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi robe, I did a quick short for Gibson as well, and that was really fun. You guys should check that out. But what I was going to say is this little kid that goes to a lot of my events that I've given some guitar lessons to, Sawyer Lee, he was Marty McFly for Halloween, Marty McFly, but Enchantment Under the Sea Marty McFly, the suit, the wingtip shoes, the red tie, his hair was done the perfect way, and then he came up and played Johnny Be Good with us, and that was awesome. But he also did all the lines that Marty McFly says during that sequence, and then he also he wanted me to break it down during right before his guitar solo, where I did the Chuck Berry, Marvin Berry part, and so I even did that. So it was like one of the most epic moments of the Gibson Garage event. So that was really a kick. I hope you guys all had a great Halloween. And this is not my Halloween outfit, but you could say I'm like Southwestern hipster, middle-aged guy. I'm past middle-aged now at this point, but we'll just say that, middle-aged guy. Southwestern middle-aged guy with the necklace and the Southwestern shirt and fedora, kind of like Colorado hipster. I would kind of need like leather gloves or something, I think, to add to that. But I did go to college in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and so I got this jacket recently. It's cold now here. But I got this jacket. It did remind me of Santa Fe, but I don't know. Just having fun with it. The Santa Fe look, yes. Okay, let's talk about music theory. The key of C major comes from 7 notes, which is the C major scale. So the C major scale is just the natural notes. It's C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And then it starts over at C again. So the natural notes, C to C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now each one of those notes is a root to the chord of the key. And they have the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Each one of those notes, like I said, is the root to the chord of that key. So the 1 chord, and I want you guys to follow. Hopefully you have a guitar right now. You guys got a guitar? You guys got your guitars? This is good stuff right now. It's good, important stuff. So the C note is the root to the 1 chord. So our first chord of the key of C major is C major chord. You could also call it the Ionian scale. That's David Joyner was asking about that. So you can watch this back later if you don't have your guitar. Some people are at work. So C major chord is the 1 chord. And then the 2 note is a D, so the 2 chord of any key, the 2 chord's always minor. So C major is the 1 chord. D minor is the 2 chord. The 3 chord is a whole step up from there, and it's an E, and the 3 chord's always minor, so the 3 chord is E minor. So the 1 chord is C major, the 2 chord is D minor, the 3 chord is E minor. And they're all derived from those 7 notes. Now the 4 chord is a half step up from the 3 chord in any major key. And so that's an F, and it's an F major. So the 4 chord of C major is F major. The 5 chord's a whole step up from there, and it's a G major. But if you harmonized it to a 7 chord, it'd be G dominant 7. So the 5 chord in any major key is that blues sounding chord. there's only one dominant 7 chord in a major key, and it's the 5 chord. So in C major, it's G7. And someone mentioned mixolydian. If I played all these chords, but started and ended these chords on G7, that's now a mode of the major scale. It'd be called G mixolydian. We haven't changed anything, but if we just make G7 the tonal center and the G note the tonal center of the scale, then it's now G mixolydian. Someone says, why is it minor? I assume you mean one of those minor chords. Well, the C major scale one chord is derived from playing the root, skipping the next tone in the scale, but then playing the next one. That's called a third of the scale. Skip the next one and play the next one. You get 3 notes that make up a major triad, C major. If I use that same harmonization on the second note, a D note, skip the next note in the scale, but play the next one, skip the next one and play the next one. From that scale, if I play that same group of harmonized notes, it makes a D minor chord. So it's minor, the 2 chords minor because it's derived from that original 7-note scale. And I just take the root, harmonize it, and based on that scale, if I harmonize that first root, you're left with a C major chord. But if I harmonize on the second note, it makes a D minor chord. If I do the same harmonization on the third note, it's an E minor. If I do the same harmonization on the fourth note, it harmonizes to an F major. If I do it on the next note, but I add the next harmony, just what's called the 7th, La Bamba and Twist and Shout, although Twist and Shout's up a whole step, it's actually in D major. So let's talk about the chords of C major real quick, because you don't have to play any bar chords. The 1 chord is C major. The 2 chord is D minor. The 3 chord is E minor. The 4 chord is F major. The 5 chord is G major. But the 5 chord is the only chord that's a dominant 7, so we could just add that 4th harmony note, play G7. And then we're left with the next chord up, which is the 6th chord, A minor. Now there's 7 notes, so there's 7 chords. The 7th chord is a B minor 7 flat 5, which is a jazz chord. But in most mainstream music, pop music, blues music, pop, jazz, soul, country, everything, they don't use the 7th chord. So you literally have 6 chords to deal with to just play in a normal, regular key. And here they are. 7th chord. And what we really use is that 7th chord. If you put the 5th in the bass, it's a G7 chord. So you could actually substitute the 7th chord for the 5 chord and watch what that sounds like. It'll sound complete. That's the truest way to actually harmonize that 7th note of the scale. So you really just have 6 chords to deal with that are in a key. And if I just shifted it around, I'm in a new key, but it's still that same relationship. The 1 chord is major, the 2 chord is a whole step up minor, the 3 chord is a whole step from there minor, the 4th chord is a half step up from the 3rd and it's major, the 5th is a whole step up and it's a dominant 7 or a major, and then the 6th chord is a whole step up and it's minor. But let's just go to C major because I'm going somewhere with this. how does chord forms? Well, it all starts with the 7-note scale. Root again. That's the formula, and then the chords are coming only from those 7 notes, and it's just by hitting a root, and then skipping a note, and hitting the next note, skipping a note, hitting the next note. That's called root, third, fifth. So. If I skip every other note and start with a root and play 3 notes, oh, that gives me a C major chord. But the chords are coming from this pattern. Or like that. That's our formula, and then the chords come from that. So check it out. If I play Twist and Shout in the key of C or La Bamba, that's a 1, 4, 5 in the key of C. It's the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, maybe back to the 4 chord and the 1 chord, the 4 chord, 5 chord, harmonize with the 7 for tension. It resolves really strong back to the 1. Okay, if I play No Woman, No Cry or Let It Be, 1, 5, 6, 4, 1, 5, 4, down to the 1. Someone said, when can I play a major 7 chord? Well, the 1 chord and the 4 chord of the major scale and the major key, there's only 3 chords in a major key, the 1, 4, and 5. The 5 chord's dominant 7, it's that blues sound. But the 1 and the 4 chord could be harmonized out to a major 7 chord. So if I wanted to play that 4th, when you play a C major, that's just 3 notes harmonized, but if I play C major 7, that's the next note in the harmony. Skip this to that. So when to use it, if you're in it, the key, so I'll now play up to the 4th harmony in that same scale. C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, and I'll play G7 again, C major 7. So I could do that and actually play Let It Be or No Woman, No Cry with the full 7 harmony. So when you add that extra harmony, like major 7s and minor 7s, it's just gonna have an extra color in there that it gets more jazzy, is the layman's terms. And so you're not always gonna want a jazzier sound. I like the cleanliness, the tighter, clean sound of just a major or a minor chord. When I was younger learning guitar and starting to learn more advanced stuff, I tended to make more of my chords 7s and major 7s and minor 7s and dominant 7s because I thought that meant I was better at guitar because I was adding more knowledge to it. And I realized it's just the color that you choose to use or not. Like in Under the Bridge has a major 7 chord by choice because it just sets a mood in that moment. Someone said, "Oh, you need your mic better," blah, 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 blah. Everyone's always talking about it. I'm going from a phone, just deal with it. That's just how these live streams work on YouTube. You use your phone. I'm far enough away where you can still see the guitar and you can hear me. Just turn your computer up, go, just basically deal with it. But that's an opportunity to talk about my community now, though. At martymusic.com, I've been doing 2 live streams a month, and I'm not doing Patreon anymore. So what I did was I'm doing the first Saturday of every month on YouTube. I'm doing this public live stream, and because of the algorithm and everything, it has to be done the way I'm doing it right now. So you won't get as good of quality sound-wise. The mix won't be as good, but that's how people can get it delivered into their phones. So that's just the way it is. I do the best I can with it. I'm trying and teaching you guys the best I can and doing it for free. But I have a community where I'm doing quality over quantity because, you can pay for a full membership to martymusic.com, get all my courses with the tab books and, multiple hundreds of hours of topics, step-by-step courses. And then with that, you also get 2, sometimes 3 community live streams where it's now in HD and it's horizontal, so you get the whole guitar. I'm using a separate vocal mic. I'm using a separate guitar. The guitar's mic'd separately. It's all mixed, perfect sound, perfect audio, perfect visual. And then the coolest thing about it, and it's very specific to martymusic.com, is that you guys watching, because it's not a public live stream where we've got a few hundred people watching at a time, it's more like 10 to 20 people there live, and any of you watching can be on video and chime in with me with your guitar. You don't have to, but people are doing it where they hit a button and it's like they're raising their hand. And so we could be talking about music theory like I am today, but then you can ask me a question. So if someone's like, "Hey, why is it a major 7?" Instead of just some comment flying by, you can raise your hand and I can hit the button and call on you, and now you come up on video, and I'm literally talking to you like I'm looking into the camera right now, and I'm seeing your face, and you've got your guitar, and I'm here. Everyone else is watching like we're in a live masterclass. And it's been so refreshing and rewarding because it's people that really want to be there. And when someone asks a question, usually it's a topic that the other people are relating to as well. And so you can do, for $24.95, you can have access to my entire library of courses, which is way better than just watching random stuff on YouTube. And you get access to those members only live streams. And it's been around 20 people in there, which is just great because it's just this like small community. Anyone that has an important question or topic that they want to learn, they can literally ask me face to face. And if you only wanted to do those live streams without all the access to all the courses, that's $10 a month. So you're literally getting, a group lesson with me twice a month for $10, which I just jammed with the band Tesla in Vegas. I'm gonna flex here. I listened to that band a lot when I was a teenager. And I went to Vegas to go sit in with Tesla and even play their biggest song with them, which was such a thrill. And Matt, who's here watching and moderating right now with me, he came to babysit me.
It was my birthday too.
It was Matt's birthday. I treated him out to a very fancy steak dinner.
Yes.
It was really, really good.
It's awesome.
But what I was going to say about that is because I'm saying you get 2 private, sometimes 3. I do bonus ones, but guaranteed to do 2 little, small group lessons where you can actually ask me questions on guitar and I will answer and do my best to help you. You get 2 to 3 of those a month in a small group setting for $10 a month. Matt and I went to Vegas, and I played with Tesla, and the next morning after I jammed with Tesla, totally sober,
Everybody.
I only get, the whole band was sober too. It's funny because like, I only get hungover now from staying up late. Like I was at a Halloween party, and like I feel hungover, but I did not drink last night. But I feel hungover just because I was out late. That's where I'm at, and that's why I'm wearing my retirement jacket from Santa Fe. The point I'm making is, we went to Starbucks in the hotel the next morning, and I got a coffee drink, and Matt got a coffee drink, and one Danish, and it was like $30. All right. So what I'm saying is, you can take 2 private group lessons, 3 private group lessons with me a month for $10, or you can have 1 Starbucks order for $30. So that's just, what I'm saying there. Okay, let's get back to the music theory. So we've got these. I'm just gonna do major and minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll play as a G7 chord. 1. And so you can write progressions that are always going to sound good in any combination. I mean, I could just start with the 1 chord, and then literally, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I could pull them out of a hat randomly and combine them into a chord progression. I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait a minute, that's a famous song without the 6. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is actually like a Rolling Stone. Now the 7th chord is actually a B, and in the key of C, the 7th chord is a B minor 7 with a flat 5, and it sounds like this. But if you harmonize that with the 5th and the bass, it's actually a G dominant 7 chord with a 9 in there. So really, if you want to use the sound of and the tension of the 7th degree back to the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 again, then you just play a G7 chord for the 7th if you want to complete it. But you can pick any of those 1 through 6, and they're always going to sound like they work. To use all 6 chords. You don't even have to start on the 1 chord, but when you take one of the other chords of that 1 through 6 and you make that the tonal center, and that feels like home bass and that feels like the root, then that's what a mode is. A mode is just when you take the mode is when you take a major scale and you just shift one of those other notes from the scale and make that the root instead, and now it's a mode. And so it's like, if you do it with the 2nd degree, that's the 2nd mode, which is called Dorian. If you do it, so for C major, if I play C major up and down, but with the D, the 2nd note, as the root, that's now called D Dorian. And then if I did it with the 3rd note, E minor, and I played the same scale and same chords, but E minor feels like home bass, that is E Phrygian. If I do it with F, it's F Lydian. If I do it with G, it's G Mixolydian. If I do it with A, it's A Aeolian. And if I do it with the B, which no one does in that function, like I said, that would be called B Locrian. And they sound so fancy and intimidating. But yeah, you don't even have to know any of it. Like Paul McCartney uses all of this. Paul McCartney uses all of it and more. There's more stuff to talk about. He uses all of it, but he couldn't maybe describe it in proper music theory terms. But he's learned so many songs of his favorite artists and then written so many songs that he just knows these different sounds from experience. So you don't have to know the theory, but it is meant to be used for your own knowledge to become a better musician. So here's something that's really cool though. I'm going to talk about borrowed chords. And so there's these chords outside of these 6 chords, right? So it's like once you learn the rules, learn how to break the rules. Miller Terrell says, have I ever watched Rambo? I've watched every Rambo movie a billion jillion times. Well, the first 3 I've watched a lot. The first 2 I've watched an incredible amount. So if you do have a question about Rambo, by all means ask. But maybe does this shirt remind you of Rambo or something? Anyway, those first 2 Rambo movies were like huge for me. I was a kid, like, you know, it was just like hit me at the same time as all the classic 80s movies I grew up with. So Rambo's a big part. Dude, Rambo's my favorite, said someone. In fact, I'll give you my Rambo. I'm going to talk about borrowed chords here. Someone said modal interchange, that kind of stuff. Here's my Rambo. Here's one of my Rambo just stories that I connect with Rambo. Matt, have you seen any Rambo movies?
Yeah, I think the first 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really all you need.
Yeah.
I mean, the 3rd one is still like in that, like, it's in the zone. But the first 2 are like just classics. And they're so different from each other.
The new one was good though, right?
I didn't like it as much. But the Rambo 1 is like a dark drama about a Vietnam vet being mistreated because he's a stranger in a small town. And the cops take advantage of him and he fights back with his Green Beret skills. Rambo 2 is like equivalent of like Fast and Furious Part 5. It's like, but Rocky did the same thing. Like, don't get me into 80s pop culture. I'm an expert. And I was a film major for a bit, too. But Rambo 2 is like a superhero action movie where Rambo 1's like a dark drama. And they just flipped the script and went all out. Just like Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 are actually not boxing movies or sports movies. They're actually love story, drama, underdog drama love stories. Rambo 3 is a comic book movie. I'm sorry, Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 are dramas where he's a boxer, but it's not about boxing at all, and they're not action movies. There's barely any boxing in it. They're really underdog drama love stories. But they were such big hits that by Rocky 3, and probably just where Sylvester Stallone was in his life, becoming a superstar, he flipped the script on Rocky, and so by Rocky 3, it's a superhero movie. Rocky 4 is even more of a superhero movie. In layman's terms, it's basically a comic book movie. And so Rambo 1, it's just called First Blood. It's not even called Rambo. Rambo 1 is another one of these dramas with some action. It's a great movie. Rambo 2 is a comic book action movie. Am I talking about music theory still? Oh, but Rocky Rambo. That build up, dun 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 dun. That is a major triad. Yeah. The third, fifth, third. DeLorean, baby. Same key though. Mode of C major. Is it a coincidence? I think not. Okay, let me talk about the borrowed chords. The first one I'm going to call the flat third. So the normal third is E minor. C major, E minor is the third. But the flat third is a major chord and a half step lower than E. So it's E flat major. I'll play a C bar chord right here. The flat third chord is right there. So I'm playing the A shape with the root on the 6th fret A string. And that rolls right into the natural fourth really well. Now, Mars 6433 says, 1 if you understand him, 2 if you don't. You know, the thing is we're like all on this journey of learning, right? And I'm covering probably about a year's worth of stuff that you would have to learn if you don't understand. If you're at a 3 that you don't, or 2 if you don't understand. If you're at a 2 right now, I'm taking an hour to explain about a year's worth of knowledge, right? What's cool though is that even if like you don't fully get what I'm talking about, if you go down this journey of learning this, what I'm talking about today in this hour will only help you on that journey, even if you don't fully understand what I'm talking about. So you're not wasting any time with me right now. And also, like I said, it's a year's worth of stuff in an hour. So I'm just doing this overview. But if I told you that you wanted to like come up with your own song and that these are the chords that work for it, that's pretty simple like statement, right? Would you like to come up with your own chord progression? Well, here's one way to do it. This is called the key of C. And you've got these chords that you can put in any combination that sound good together. You got a C chord, you got a D minor chord, you got an E minor chord, you got an F chord, you got a G chord, you got an A minor chord. Some of my favorite songwriters only use those shapes for all their songs that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Or their most famous songs were just using that. Maybe they put a capo on to change the range. They're just doing that. That's it. If you only, here's the problem when someone says, 2 if you don't understand, 1 if you do understand. Like if you don't even know a D minor chord yet, then we're really jumping ahead, right? If you don't know how to if someone says, like, so I think your very beginner foundation, you need to know a C, D minor, E minor, F, G, and A minor chords. It's one of the first things you need to learn as a guitar player. So if you don't know a D minor chord, for instance, or you have to think about it, then we're really getting ahead. But this isn't a live stream just for beginners or just for intermediate players. It's just like an overall live stream. Okay, so check this out. You have those chords, but you have these other chords that break the rules but sound good. So the flat third is the first one I would talk about, E flat major. That doesn't sound wrong. That doesn't sound like it doesn't go together, but it's not from the major key. It's using a borrowed chord. So if I added the fourth, which is just part of the normal key, that's so many different rock progressions. What's interesting about that is that's like the Freebird progression, but Freebird is in G. So the jam at the end of Freebird is, if we go to G, I just did that to sound like we're in G now. The 1 chord's G, the flat 3 is B flat, and the 4 chord is C. So it's that technique I was just talking about. The first one is literally the jam at Freebird. The flat 3, the 4, 1, flat 3, the 4. Let's go back to C major. What's great about that flat 3 is it's like kind of borrowing from C minor. So when we do something like that, I think why it's used in rock so much is because you can play the minor pentatonic over that, even though it's 3 major chords. So if I just played C major, E flat major, and F major, well, if I jam the minor pentatonic over that, it's just like, it just works. It sounds like rock, you know? So I'll do that real quick. Feeling stronger. So that's, I'm calling that the key of C, but I'm doing one of those borrowed chords, C major, E flat major, and F major. And when you add that flat third, you can play the C minor pentatonic instead of the C major scale. So that's the C major scale, C minor pentatonic. And it works. Here's where music theory, and the more you start to learn how this can come in handy, it's like, play me that same progression, but play it in F instead of C. Well, I can transpose that because of the knowledge I have. So it'd be F is the 1, and that flat third would be A flat, and the 4 would be B flat. So that's Freebird in F, which seems like not appropriate. It should be in G, but that's the point I'm making. You can transpose it by knowing that knowledge. Let's go back to C major again. Now I just did that to cleanse our palate of our ear, so we can hear the tonal center of C again. So we had the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, and the 7th chord I'll just play a G7 instead, and the 1 chord. Now we have 1 borrowed chord that can break the rules, and that's E flat major. Even, it sounds cool even just playing the flat 3 instead of the normal 3, but all the other normal chords, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, flat 3. Beatles would do one of those borrowed chords a lot for like the bridge of a song. Like they're going like, bridge, flat 3. So that's 1. Another one of the borrowed chords is called the flat 7, and that's a major chord as well. Oh, right as someone commented that, the flat 7 for true rocking. So the flat 7 is a major chord, a whole step lower than the root. So if we're in the key of C major, it's a B flat major. let's do the flat 7 instead of the natural 7 and play all the rest of the diatonic chords. 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, flat 7, 1. Let's do it now where I play the chords, but instead of the 3rd, I'll play the flat 3rd. Instead of the 7th, I'll play the flat 7th. They don't have to go in that order, but that's just an example. Let's do the 3rd and the flat 3rd. So those two are great borrowed chords. Let's see, getting jiggy with it. Do you know Surrender from Sabia? No, I don't know that. Whiter Shade of Pale. I love that song, actually. Whiter Shade of Pale. It'd be cool to take a song that uses some of those borrowed chords. Let's see. I just remember laying out all the chords of that Paul McCartney song, Maybe I'm Amazed, and it's just using all the music theory in one song. Someone said, can the 1 ever be minor? Like, what if a minor, well, yes, it can, but really if you want a minor key, you take the C major, well, we'll just stay in C major for this lesson, but if you wanted something that was in minor, everything in the C major is everything that you would do for A minor. The 6th of a major key is the relative minor. So if I wanted to write a song in A minor, I do all of this stuff, but I start the root, the first, I revolve it around A minor sounding like the tonal center. So remember, in C major's in there, D minor's in there, E minor's in there, A minor's in there. If I played A minor as the tonal center, we're now playing with all the other chords of C major, we're playing A minor. And in fact, A minor, D minor, and E minor are all in C major. So I can actually play an A minor progression and just play A minor, D minor, and E minor. I don't even have C major in there anymore, but it's still coming from that scale. So I just looped it, and if I play the C major scale over that progression, but I just use the A as what feels like home. So I haven't changed anything except what sounds like home. I'm now playing A minor, the A minor scale. The A minor scale, once again, you don't have to understand all this, but this is a big statement right now. The C major scale and the A minor scale are the exact same notes. The key of C major and the key of A minor are the exact same chords. that's also A minor is the relative minor of C major. C major is the relative major of A minor. What I really like about any minor type of scale, right now we're playing the A minor scale, you always have the pentatonic underneath it. So I can just play the A minor pentatonic without knowing the full 7-note scale. I was just playing the do re mi scale over that, but in C over A minor. All right, so yes, that's it for that lesson. Once again, I'm doing a new community only live streams where it's a small group of people. Like, think of it as like a live group lesson with me. And I'd say even the majority of the people are kind of shy in there. And I get that, like you're afraid of like asking what you feel like is a dumb question, even though the immediate answer is always there are no dumb questions. There are dumb questions, but typically it's not one that you need to worry about. But I'm doing 2, sometimes 3 private group lessons over there. And you can ask me questions directly with your guitar. So I can like see you play. So some of the things we've had so far, it's just been going on for a few months. Someone will ask a question, but then they'll actually have their guitar be like, yeah, I'm trying to bend this string like this. And every time I bend, my finger gets caught on the other string. And, oh, painful. How can I fix that? And then I'm like, hey, Rob, I totally get you. I know exactly what to do with that. I've faced that before. You got to curve your fingers a little bit, etc. And so I can answer those types of questions for people. And it's also just feels like a real supportive community. And it's real small quality. Plus, it's got better, high def video. I have one of those classic podcast microphones. The guitar amps being mic'd separately, so you hear everything really well. I can hear you play. I can answer questions. And that is only at martymusic.com. And I still enjoy these open public live streams because anyone can come in for free. And there's a lot of old names I've seen over and over, and I appreciate that great support and everything. So just count on the first Saturday of every month me still doing these, and that's why I'm doing it. It's November 1st today. We're literally on the first day of the month, and that's why I'm doing this public one. And I picked a topic to talk about, and I tried to really focus on that topic, answer a few questions along the way. And then once I got to usually it's about a half hour, then I just do free form anything. And then that's where usually people chime in and go, quit talking. He's talking too much. Do something, play something, And so that's another reason why I've enjoyed the community over at martymusic.com, because I'm just not dealing with any of that. It's people that want to be there. Marty, am I into any sports? I'm so busy with my...
Tonight, Game 7.
Of the World Series?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tied up.
So the Dodgers won last night.
Yeah.
I was at a Halloween gig. Not my gig. I was at someone's gig. Then I went to a party.
That'll be worth watching.
But I saw some people watching the game at the gig, like on their phones. I was like, And I saw that the Dodgers were winning. I'm from LA originally, but I played at the hockey game recently here in Nashville. That was really fun. And I got to watch the hockey game from really good seats, and that was really fun. But I'm not really following any particular sports teams. I'm not a super fan of any team, really. It was always really exciting to go to a Lakers game when I was a kid. I didn't go that much, but I went a few times. That was really exciting. So I saw Magic Johnson play. I've seen LeBron play. I've seen Shaq play. I've seen Kobe Bryant play. I've seen Michael Jordan play. I saw him when he was on the Bulls playing against the Lakers. That was exciting. And then, what was it? The Wizards? He helped create that team, Washington Wizards,
Yeah.
right? I saw that too. But so I've seen kind of all those legends. That's really exciting. I went to a lot of Anaheim Angels baseball games growing up, and some Dodger games too. Been to the Padres games. The Rams used to be the LA Rams. I went to some of those when I was a kid. Went to some LA Raiders games when I was a kid. I've been to a few Chargers when they were San Diego Chargers. Been to Chargers games. I've played Chargers. I played in a band at Chargers training camp, like the last day where they had like a banquet. I was in a band that got hired to like play at this thing. And I think it was the guy Marty Schottenheimer was the coach because his name was Marty. That's why I remember. This is all in my past lives as a gigging musician. I don't officially have my own band, but like I did a Gibson guitar event where I put my own band together just for that because I'm not like really out there hustling my own band. I played in a lot of bands before my YouTube career. I've played thousands of gigs as just a performing guitar player. So I did a lot of that. But I'm considering putting my own band together more seriously right now. I've been thinking about it a lot in this phase of my life. I think it'd be fun and good for me. I'm also sit in and play a lot with my good friends here, and they're a band called Moga Family Band. They were my backing band for my Marty Music Mountain Retreat. And then I did do my own show at the bitter end of New York City while I was out there, and Moga Family Band was my band for that. And they're just awesome, phenomenal. So this is stuff I'm thinking about. I would love any support over at martymusic.com because YouTube keeps changing, and I have such a great base of loyal followers that I'd rather just kind of cater to the base that I already have with my website and the new community live streams, as well as new courses that I've been more focused on this last year making. So in about a week, I have a new course coming out. So if this sounds interesting to you, I would recommend you signing the free community membership tier over at martymusic.com because you can answer polls, you get updates first, and tons of bonus content, and it's free. So you can sign the free tier, but you also get notified first on the new courses that I'm making. And so the course that's coming out in a week is inspired by B.B. King. And today it's better YouTube career or musician career with bands. It's very easy for me to answer. I'm sure you can guess what my answer is, but for me, doing this, helping people, instead of just come watch me and worship me and look at how good I am or whatever, what I do here is I help people. I still get to play, I still get to express myself with the guitar, but in a manner that is also helping people provide some quality in their life of music and hopefully getting better at guitar. So it's much better, and I'm much more content and happier doing this career than playing in bands or touring or being, in some band or whatever. This is makes me a lot more content. Also, I raised 2 kids, and by doing this career, I was able to be home. You know, if you're in a band, you're traveling over half the year. In fact, Matt, my manager and moderator right now, he spent 10 years as a tour manager for a band called Moon Taxi. And at their peak, were you gone more than you were home? Or was it about 50-50?
It was probably 60-40. We
60
did the
40
weekends.
Away?
No, home.
60 40. It was a
We
40%.
kept getting, it was, maybe the peak was like 50-50.
50, let's just
But then
call it 50-50. So
Yeah,
at the peak of their, you know, being busy and successful, half of your time was away.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you have small children, that's a lot to miss. Now, granted, if that's how you're supporting that family, I'm all, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But since I had this ability to not have to do that, I chose to stay home and be able to do all of this from one location, help people make a living, play guitar. They're different. I love to play. I love to play.
I like to play.
I like to play. Thank you. I like to play. So on the 30th, I did my own Gibson guitar event called Back to Basics at the Gibson Garage in Nashville. And that's an opportunity for people to come up and play with me in a band. But we also play without, you know, we play songs just as a band also. So we get to like perform a bit. And there's just something really great that's fulfilling about being able, there's something really great about being able to play and have just versatility, you know, like there's playing, there's teaching, there's performing, there's writing, there's studio sessions, you know, you kind of like try and keep yourself well-rounded. And then when something starts to take off, like my YouTube and lessons started to take off, then I just pivoted and put more energy into the thing that was working really well. But I was always doing all of it. What's my favorite movie? Well, the movie that had the biggest impact on me is the original Star Wars. I was 4 years old when that came out, and back then it was before home video. So like a movie like Star Wars would stay in the theater for like, basically it was in the theater for 2 years. I mean, Jaws is the first like mainstream blockbuster. That was in the theater for a whole year. I was too young for Jaws when it originally came out, but Star Wars came out, and for the next 2 years it was in the theater. So like, if you think about little kids now that are obsessed with Frozen, like the movie Frozen, that's just the first one that came to my mind. Your kids love Frozen?
All right, so the costume I kept seeing yesterday was the Demon Hunters.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of Demon
That's
Hunters.
very popular right now. I haven't seen that, but let's use that as an example. Kids that are obsessed with that, they wake up in the morning, they go, K-pop Demon Hunters, put it on. You know, 2 hours later, K-pop Demon Hunters, put it on.
Yep.
4 hours later, the mom needs to clean or the dad needs to do something and they have to keep the kids busy. All right, iPad, K-pop Demon Hunters, here you go, right? Well, when I was obsessed that same way with Star Wars as a little kid, you couldn't just pop it on the TV in front of me. So my mom literally, you know, took me to Star Wars like 20 times or 100 times because I would like, you know, a week would go by and I'd be like, I want to see Star Wars. I want to see Star Wars. The only way to do that was to take me to the movies and see it. So that had a huge impact on me. I also think that's why, like now it's video games, but back then, I think that's why those Star Wars action figures were so successful, because you couldn't watch the movie over and over, and you'd get the Star Wars action figures and replay your own adventures or scenes from the movie with your own imagination with the action figures. And I think that's why those toys went so crazy, is that was how people kids could relive their favorite moments and use their own creativity, imagination to make up their own stories. So someone says Fref. That's from the YouTube Poops. Very famous. Marty Schwartz here with Marty Schwartz. Now you're going to be all alone, but I don't want you to think too much about it. Or no, you're going to be all alone. That's okay. I don't want you to think too much about it. That's my favorite line from it. But did I say like sit on your right nut or something?
Something like that.
There's a bunch of crazy stuff in that.
We got Lando in the chat.
Lando Calrissian was my drummer at the Gibson guitar event. Matt was Han Solo. Jake Baines, is kind of one of my prodigies. He watched me as a little kid and now he's 24 years old and is shredding, amazing guitar player. So he was Luke Skywalker. I was Obi-Wan Kenobi. My keyboard player I use is this amazing young keyboard player in town named Bryce. And for some reason, I knew he's game. He's a really funny guy, great sense of humor, amazing musician. I got him a Princess Leia outfit and the Princess Leia buns. So he was Princess Leia was pretty epic.
With the stash.
And then my friend, with the mustache, which was perfect. And then my friend Eric, who plays bass with me all the time at different things and has a bunch of his own projects. He naturally dresses in these like black Japanese like robe outfits. That's like his artist vibe. Is these all black robe Japanese pants and clothy, scarfy, clothy things. So I just immediately made him a Sith. Made him the dark side. Originally, I thought his outfits looked the most like Kylo Ren, and we got a Kylo Ren mask, and it didn't come in time. Mm-hmm. So then Matt went to Target and bought a Darth Vader voice-changing mask. So he ended up like coming in the black robes with the Darth Vader mask.
People have been asking about it because it's right behind you.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That was we just bought it, so now it's on. Now
we can write it off.
We're writing it off because now it's a set piece because it was $50. Think about buying Star Wars costumes for 5 guys for 1 gig, and then paying them for the gig. I mean, remember Starbucks was $30. Think about just one mask for 2 hours, $50. It's ridiculous. Marty, would you ever join the dark side? I've thought about it. Sometimes these comments make me think about it. Please, I have to ask, are you accepting requests? I always accept them. Doesn't mean I do them. I accept them. Someone wants to be my Yoda. I have a few Yodas already. Rambo or Rocky? Wow, Rambo or Rocky? Man. I mean, I guess there's more volume of better Rocky movies than Rambo. Also, Rocky will hit you in the feels more. Like the Rocky Balboa movie's really good. I guess that would have been Rocky 6, but once you get past 5, you just don't add numbers anymore. So there were better Rocky movies later, and then Creed was really good, and that's not a Rocky movie, but Rocky's in it. So there's just higher volume of quality of Rocky movies. But man, nothing beats a just kick-ass Rambo 2. Oh my God, Rambo 2. Just pop that in and your brain is taken care of for an hour and a half. Now this is an offensive question to Guitar Justice Jams. And is that Lando?
Yeah.
Dakar was my Lando, and he wasn't that familiar with Lando. So he doesn't actually even know how awesome he looked. He didn't fully grasp it. Although I saw him quote the quote I gave him in his short, well, what do we have here? Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Lando Calrissian, administrator of this facility. And who do we have here? Leia. Greetings, Leia. But Dakar is an amazing drummer, so I give him a pass, and I know he's just kidding. But he's asking Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider. And that just hurts my soul. I think you know the answer without me having to say it. If that hurts my soul, then I don't even think I need to answer it. But if you needed an answer more. was just from literally. I'm proud of myself for that because that's literally me just recalling, like, if you could sing something, I was able to do that on guitar, which I definitely have gotten better at. Just like, that's like your ear training. Like, I was just able to play the Indiana Jones theme from my head onto guitar. Oh, this is good though. I love these. These are really actually better questions for me than guitar questions. Animal House or Fast Times? Have you seen both of those, Matt?
Yeah.
Animal House or Fast Times? Oh, that one hurts because Animal House is more iconic and more classic, but Fast Times is freaking amazing.
Animal House has one of the best guitar scenes too.
Animal House has one of the best guitar scenes, but overall, but Fast Times has tons of great rock and roll, like, and it was written by Cameron Crowe.
Oh,
Not directed by Cameron Crowe, but written by Cameron Crowe, who's a great rock appreciator of rock. But like, there's this Ticket Scalper in it. There's like, yeah, she's gonna be somebody's baby tonight. I try to shut my eyes, but I can't keep her out of my heart. And then they talk about Led Zeppelin and literally when they steal Spicoli and the football player's brother, Forrest Whitaker, played by Forrest Whitaker, his younger brother and Spicoli take the Trans Am out for a joyride, and they're getting super high, and they crash the car, and then they fake. It's so brilliant. They crash the car, but then they spray paint it that it was the rival football team.
Oh yeah.
And then and then it's the rival game, and he's just like destroying all. Like, he has like the best game of his career because he thinks they wrecked his Trans Am. There's a very famous Phoebe Cates scene. Shaped a lot of young adolescent minds. I'll leave it at that. With amazing cars. The Cars are playing underneath that. Marty and Jerry. What's your favorite song, Marty? You can't have a favorite song. What's my favorite cat? Cat Stevens is my favorite cat. Guitar collection auction coming up. Oh yeah. What's that guy's name again? He had the most insane guitar collection of all time, and he died. Hello, beginner electric guitar player. Any tips? Blues Brothers or original Spinal Tap? Wow. I know the answer. It's Spinal Tap for me, but they're very different. They're so different. I almost don't compete them against each other in that way. But if I had to choose between Blues Brothers and Spinal Tap, it would definitely be Spinal Tap. I can quote more Spinal Tap lines. I do my really bad English accent because of Spinal Tap. I know the dialogue better than Blues Brothers. Ooh, this is a good one, but I know the answer. Predator or Terminator? Predator or Terminator? I just finally got my 17-year-old son to watch Predator with me, and he loved it. He loved it. I love when my kids actually like one of my movies. They don't like them all, but my son loved Predator. But Terminator is better than Predator. Terminator always beats Predator. And Terminator would beat Predator in real life. Best band ever is the Beatles, followed by Led Zeppelin. Funny, which song's the most difficult to play? Like any of those like crazy proggy, shreddy songs, I don't even like that music, so I don't care about playing it. But one of the hardest songs I ever taught was Bark at the Moon. It's one of the fastest, you need the fastest right hand, much faster than I can do. And I'm not super fast right-handed anyway, but when I jammed with Tesla a couple weekends ago, that guitar player was backstage, Jake E. Lee, and I got to meet him and talk to him, and he was super sweet. I talked all about learning Bark at the Moon, how hard it was. He said, yes, I can't play it anymore either, I was like, that makes me feel better. It was really nice talking. He was really sweet man. Keep track of those questions, Matt. 5 spoons of Marty with my morning tea. Machine Gun Kelly's guitar playing. It's totally fine. Anyone that's like a newer artist that plays guitar, I'm stoked with. Machine Gun Kelly, I know for a fact, has learned some stuff from me. And that's all I know. I've never met him or anything, but I know he's watched my videos to learn guitar. Billy Strings or Derek Trucks? Well, for me, that's easy because of my age. It's Derek Trucks. Also, it's easy for me because I actually know Derek Trucks. I was going to say he's my friend. I'm friends with Susan. I've had dinner and drinks with Derek. I've hosted him a little bit in Nashville. He's a freaking legend. The best guitar player, pound for pound, for me, is Derek Trucks. But I love Billy Strings. So it's not a love one and not the other. Favorite Beatles solo career? Ooh. Well, I got to go with George, All Things Must Pass, just because he was kind of always kept to just like 1 or 2 songs where Paul and John like did so much stuff. But I mean, clearly Paul is the most prolific Beatle. It's obvious. He's also still alive. So he's been able to do Wings and solo stuff, and like Maybe I'm Amazed is one of my favorite songs. He wrote that in the solo version. But All Things Must Pass is like the greatest like one album from the Beatles. What do you play after mastering the pentatonic? There is no such thing as mastering the pentatonic. Let's see. Townes Van Sant or John Prine? Don't know enough of their deeper catalogs to have a thought on that. Aliens or RoboCop? Well, it's Aliens, but RoboCop's awesome. RoboCop's a great reflection on like actually where we're at now a lot in society, and it was kind of trying to predict the future in a way, and it obviously didn't hit it on the nose. They never do, but there's just something interesting about that aspect of RoboCop. But Aliens is like one of my favorite action sci-fi movies of all time. Literally, Aliens, the second Alien movie, is just 10 out of 10. Derek Trucks plays an open E, yes. Open E because he learned on slide first, and with a slide, you can just get one fret and play a major chord, and then you can use the like inversions to play minor chords that way, so that's why the open E. Do I like Bob Dylan's music? Yes. I love Bob Dylan. I've seen Bob Dylan. I saw Bob Dylan live 35 years ago, so he still could play guitar. I mean, he still sounded like that crazy Bob Dylan, but I saw him 35 years ago. Let's see. Holy bleep, is that... It's that dude. Yes, Tommy Boy. I love Tommy Boy, too. I said Beatles are the best band of all time, followed by Led Zeppelin. Do I play metal music? No. I'm not good at it. I have to really like something and be passionate about it to then do it. And I like metal, like love Metallica. But I don't love it enough to spend the time to get good at it. Did I manage to catch one of the Oasis Live 25 gigs? No, I didn't see Oasis. My brother went, which makes me jealous. And I just had stuff going on in my life that distracted me from worrying about seeing Oasis. I wish I did, but I've seen Paul McCartney. I saw Paul McCartney over a decade ago, and that was one of the best shows I've ever been to. I've seen Nirvana live, too. I like Nirvana. In fact, Nirvana uses a lot of those borrowed chords. The flat 3, the flat 7. The flat 6 was the other one I didn't talk about. Let me show that real quick. Oh, no, I did. No. The flat 6 check this out. The flat 6 would be a major chord. So the regular 6 of C major is A minor. The flat 6 is the most dramatic borrowed chord, and I didn't talk about it. Be A flat major. Check this out. And a great Beatles example, once again, Paul McCartney, he plays that flat 6 a lot. So many Beatles songs have that flat 6 in there. That's like one of their favorite moves. But the one that comes to mind is Lady Madonna. If Lady Madonna was in the key of C and that flat 6 is A flat major, he'd play C to F, C C C C F, C C C C F, A flat, B flat, root, so flat 6, flat 7, 1. Beatles right there, but Kurt Cobain used that a lot. And he, once again, he was just influenced by different music. So Kurt Cobain didn't even know the names of the chords he was playing. So Kurt Cobain would just be like, if he was playing like, he'd just be like, I just like that move, that distance, whatever that is. He wouldn't say, oh yes, of course, I'm using the flat 6. Do you have some more tea? Like 2 lumps with my tea. No, but he used it because he knew the sound. So he used all those borrowed chords. If I just did them as power chords. Madonna's in A, I just kept it in C because I was relating to what we were doing. But if Lady Madonna's in A, the flat 6 is an F major. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Flat 6 is F. That's a flat 6. Another good one is Lethal Weapon or Die Hard. Both later versions, sequels of both of those have not been up to my standards. Let's see. Let's just go the first one. Lethal Weapon 1 or Die Hard 1? I want to hear your thoughts. Lethal Weapon 1 or Die Hard 1. I know what it is for me, but it's close. They're both great movies. And Gary Busey is awesome bad guy, but Alan Rickman is the first movie where they went with the really smart suit wearing intelligent European villain, he's that was usually only in a James Bond movie. Die Hard was the first movie where they made this great smart debonair suave villain, right? Lethal Weapon 1 or Die Hard 1, I would go with Die Hard 1. Am I wrong, Matt?
You're right.
I think I'm right. Which guitar player influences you the most? Wow. At the time of learning the most guitar, I would say Trey Anastasio from Fish was they were at the peak of their fame, and it was this thing that my whole generation and my friends were super into, and I was learning guitar the most at the time, so I was excelling the most at guitar at the time that I loved Trey's playing. It's so lyrical, not hollow body. My hollow body love kind of comes from Trey, and I haven't talked about Trey that much because it's really more a point in my life, right? Because Hendrix is probably my favorite. So you've got Hendrix, Trey, and John Scofield, because John Scofield made an album called A Go Go with a group called Medeski Martin and Wood that was like funky, bluesy, funky organ trio music with John Scofield as the lead over that. And so it was a little less like heady jazz and more groove funk jam based. And John Scofield, that was kind of a new turn for him, but it fit with his vocabulary so well in that more funk setting. And that album influenced me a lot. I think I was just 1 year out of music school when A Go Go came out. So Jimi Hendrix, Trey Anastasio, John Scofield, those are all huge for me. Jimmy Page for all his riffs. Stevie Ray Vaughan and B.B. King and Eric Clapton for the more blues classic rock stuff. Jerry Garcia, because if I like Trey, then you gotta go to Jerry. And Jerry's like just one of the deepest, most original improvisers on guitar that ever was around. So Jerry's huge for me as well. I tend to sound more Trey-ish in the Dead world than I sound like Jerry, and that's probably a good thing. Or I sound more like a little more rock and roll than Jerry. But I also don't like Jerry Garcia clones on guitar. So I'm glad that I didn't like learn my lead guitar to Jerry Garcia. But there's one guitar player I'm leaving out that's really, really important for me. And I didn't mention him yet. And he's up in that top of the list. Dickie Betts. Because I learned lead guitar during my peak Allman Brothers phase. So it's maybe even Dickie above everyone else. Just because of when I was learning and getting that vocabulary. And like, of course, I love Angus Young. But I'm talking about specific influence on my own playing when I'm like playing guitar, not teaching guitar. Teach Sleepwalking. Thanks for all the guitar lessons. Yo, Mr. Schwartz, why you cooking meth? Where are the frets on my thing? I mean, I guess it's a Walter White. I think it's a Walter White comment because I'm wearing a hat and glasses. Because someone else said that to me at the Halloween party. That I was, what's the alias from Breaking Bad?
Heisenberg?
Heisenberg, yeah. What Nirvana show was it you saw live? I saw headliner, Red Hot, it was 1992, Red Hot Chili Peppers headliner, Nirvana opener, and then a special favor opener, a band that no one had heard of yet called Pearl Jam. So, Chili Peppers, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, one show, 17 years old, 1992, in Hollywood. Beat that. Pearl Jam are class. Kings of Grunge. And there was a time where, at that point of seeing that show, I did not play guitar yet. Didn't know I would be a musician. Didn't know a thing called YouTube would exist. Knew none of that. Just was a passionate music fan and the music culture. As a teenager, that's what we loved, the music of the times. And so at that moment, Chili Peppers were my favorite band. Red Hot Chili Peppers were my favorite band at the time of going to that show. Let's see. And then I'd say about a year later, Blues Traveler was my favorite band. Alice in Chains. I saw Alice in Chains live as well with all the original members. I like this. I think you're the same age as my mom. I probably am. What age did you start playing music? I was 18. 18 and life regarded. 18 and life to go. Green Day or Blink-182? For me, well, I'm from San Diego, so like the law says I have to say Blink-182, but by it's definitely Green Day for me. What about you, Matt? You probably heard Blink. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Matt's like 15 years younger than me. If you were like,
They saved me from a lot of bad music. I was listening to like
yeah, so like I totally get if you're like a 35-year-old, Blink-182 is way bigger for you than Green Day.
Total Request Live.
I'm looking at Green Day and Blink-182. I was already an adult. Like I was not a teenager. I was like fully growing up style when both of those bands were at their peak. So I look at it with a little different perspective. I definitely taught more Green Day also as a guitar teacher when I was teaching guitar. Queens of the Stone Age. I've not seen them live. I really hated when that lead singer kicked the cameraman in the face. I haven't really recovered from how I feel about that. Well, I guess his apology was pretty good. I mean, because people do stupid things. There was just something about just how violent that looked to me. You know what I'm talking about, Matt?
Oh yeah.
You know, maybe we all have our own like little triggers of things that maybe from our own trauma and personal experiences that bring out like a stronger opinion about certain things. But something about the Queens of the Stone Age singer kicking that cameraman when they really weren't doing anything wrong. Just something, he was like in an abusive kind of frame of mind, like on his face. And he just kicked him for no reason. And I really, really, that stuck with me to this day. Let's see. Did he definitely mean to, Marty? Question mark. Go watch the video and tell me. Zach Wilde or Ted Nugent? That's really easy. Not Ted Nugent. Once again, Zach Wilde's way cooler. Also, non-politically, Zach Wilde is a nicer person. Not politically. I'm not even talking about, forget all the politics, like, because some guys get washed up and then they lean harder into politics because they're like grabbing an audience and it's not even authentic or genuine. So I don't talk about politics at all on this channel. The Marty music's meant to be an escape from all the BS out there, right? But as nice people, how you treat others, Zach Wilde or Ted Nugent, how you treat others, not politics. Zach Wilde is a way nicer person. Randy Rhoads or Van Halen? That one's easy for me. Van Halen. Never met either of them, and it's not anything about their personalities at all. Just Van Halen is just way better for me. And I love Randy Rhoads, but Van Halen's like, so easy for me to say Van Halen over Randy Rhoads. With the new guitarists on YouTube, Liam or Noel Gallagher? Noel is the guitar player and Liam's the lead singer, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They're both freaking epic, honestly.
Yeah, you're right.
They're both epic, but I actually was doing one of my Gibson guitar events maybe a year ago, and Noel had a signature guitar come out around that time, and I was doing my Gibson guitar event, and a little kid, I might have even been Sawyer, that was Marty McFly recently, but a little kid was up there jamming with me in a band, and I had no idea Noel Gallagher was there, and we're playing, and Noel Gallagher comes out from some meeting with Gibson, and he just stands like right there watching me and the band with a little kid playing, and he just had like the look on his face like, this is freaking cool. Like, he was like, thought it was awesome. Like, he was just like, you know? So it's like, and I've never met Liam, but Noel and I like acknowledged each other, and he was just like, you know, thumbs up, like, this is epic. So of course I'm going to say Noel. And also he wrote all that stuff. He wrote the songs, he wrote the lyrics. He even sung when he had to. But I mean, they're great together. I have no hate for Liam, actually. He's hilarious. And I don't have to be in the band. I can enjoy the drama too, because it's not my problem. So I think it's kind of funny. Let's see. definitely meant it. I don't know how he's angry or anything. Couldn't see his face, but he definitely put his foot out there. Oh, the Queens of Stone Age? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a weird one for me. I just don't like that. Sorry. You know, it's kind of like abusing the innocent, and it's your show, so you're feeling like there was some kind of like superiority feeling or just power feeling that looked like to me. But I think if I remember, his apology was like genuinely good, you know, and that goes a long way. Just like owning up to it. But it was just the violent nature of it. The person's there doing the camera work because it's like their job, and they just get kicked in the face for no reason. It was just really bad. Do I like John Mayer? Yes, I like John Mayer. I think he's a great artist, great guitar player. Most of the like hate he gets on comments and stuff is so transparently jealousy. Because every guitar player has to have some kind of jealousy because he's been around so long, so successful. Then on top of it, he's like really funny, tall. Women love him. He's dated all these different beautiful female celebrities. Like, there's just a lot to like be jealous of. He writes a good song. He's a great guitar player. Most deadheads don't like him doing that. I think he's done no one is Jerry Garcia, but I think he's done a good job at that too. I'd love to say that I hate what he does with the Dead Company, but actually he's pretty damn good at it. I don't know, man. He's pretty good. I should get sponsored by Guitar Center. I did a Guitar Center commercial. That counts. Although that was through American Songwriter, right? Mm-hmm. But in conjunction with Guitar Center.
Yeah.
The best part about doing that commercial was we shot it at Guitar Center, and then I stayed at Guitar Center and was just like acted like an employee that day for an hour or so. But also while we were shooting, because we were shooting like, we got there early in the morning, but then they opened and we were still shooting the commercial, and then people were there. And so I got to just kind of be a Guitar Center employee, and that was super fun because people were like, it was in Nashville also, so people were like tripping out that, you know, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of guitar players have watched my videos, so people were coming in and they were like, wait a minute, are you Marty? Also, last night I was at a Halloween party and I had my Jedi robe on from the Gibson Garage event, and then eventually I just took it off, and I was wearing this very outfit right here, this new Southwestern jacket and my hat, and there were a few people that thought I was Marty Schwartz for Halloween. One guy was like, wow, man, you look exactly like Marty Schwartz. And I was like, yes, I hear that all the time. And then to make things even more confusing, the two friends I was with were telling other people that I was not Marty Schwartz, that I was someone dressed up like Marty Schwartz. So they were adding all this confusion to the party by saying, because they were overhearing people go, dude, Marty Schwartz is here. And then it's my friend Eric that plays bass with me, and his wife Tabitha. And Tabitha, she was imbibing in the adult beverages quite a bit last night, and she was getting very incorrigible would be the right word, but she was just like going off like, that's not Marty Schwartz, you guys. That's not Marty Schwartz. It's just someone dressed like him. And so I was definitely got a kick out of that. Favorite Iron Maiden song. I saw my Iron Maiden live, and they were awesome. They were so fun. Favorite Iron Maiden song. Run to the Hills. I have not seen Oasis in concert. Do I have an original composition we can listen to? I'm working on more of that now. But I do have songs. I mean, one of the ones I was like the background music of a bunch of my videos. Oh, man. went from nothing. I was in my college band was called Steamroller, and we wrote a bunch of songs. I was in a band in San Diego. That's how I ended up in San Diego. Was a band I got in that was already established, but then I became their guitar player, and we wrote. I wrote probably 5 or 6 songs with them that they still play today, and I'm not in the band anymore. That's called Wise Monkey Orchestra. I wrote quite a bit with them. I was in this other band in San Diego called Sidecar, and I wrote music with them. And then I've written my own stuff with various people. When my YouTube career took off, there was always another thing to do that was working really well with my career, so I wasn't really ever diverting that into original music. Not because I didn't love to do it, but because I felt like I was given this amazing opportunity and platform. And I was a little turned off by some people that try and pivot, like they get known for like an education thing, and then they try and pivot and come out with their own album and tour and try and transition their audience into liking them as an artist instead of the thing that they were most known and what people wanted from them. And I always felt like that was kind of disrespectful to the audience. And so I never wanted to do that. I was very conscious of seeing various, not just one person, various people do that. Not even necessarily just guitar players, but like you're known for like presentations or teaching, education, and you go, hey, here's my new album, come see me on tour. I'm not doing that anymore. I always wanted to be an artist. I never wanted to be a teacher. I never wanted to be a presenter. And they do that, and it just was disrespectful to the audience they built. And I never wanted to do that. I've been doing this so long now that it wouldn't do that if I did that today. I'm much more comfortable like thinking about that more. And then also I'm in Nashville where all these amazing musicians are, and it makes me want to do it more because the musicians are so good. And it's just fun. I just want to have fun. I've already taught all the biggest songs already, like Nirvana and Pearl Jam and AC/DC and Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and Green Day, Blink-182, Hendrix songs. I've taught all those, Allman Brothers. I've taught all the biggest band songs already. I've done it. So that opens up a more opportunity to, do some of my own music. But I would never like just take a complete right turn and just do my own band and my own music. I just am not going to do it. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Flat keys. Why do most of the old Buddy Guy tunes on YouTube play in flat keys? First time I played the blues on the chord B flat 7, never sounded right, assuming standard tuning. Maybe not though. A lot of blues players 2.5 step down, put thicker strings on, 2.5 step down. Stevie Ray Vaughan, obviously the most famous of that. But there is also another reason for B flat and F and stuff like that, is because in the old days, saxophone players were more famous. Horn players, trumpet players, saxophone players were more famous musicians than those guitar players. And they actually like B flat and F because their horns are tuned differently. And so a lot of the old blues was in B flat because of the saxophone players and the trumpet players. Like a sax player would, I'm sure, like E flat more than E. So that's another reason, the jazz music and the jazz players. Bollywood songs. Ooh, I haven't done any of that. I don't know enough about it. But I do like seeing the Bollywood influence leak over here, like the dancing, like those Bollywood dances have been made it into like American movies now, where they just all break out into dance. Like actually like This Is the End, the Seth Rogen movie, like they do the big Backstreet Boys dance number at the end. That was pretty funny. I just haven't seen enough. Is the Bollywood movie Roar, the Roar movie? That's Bollywood, right? that movie's awesome. Favorite Beatles song? Well, it has meaning because it was the first. It was the first like conscious making YouTube for a living video I ever did. This is the Boss Katana, yeah. Flat 6. Flat 7. Root. I like the question, who's my favorite Beatle? Because Ethan Hawke's got this great, the actor Ethan Hawke's got this great video where he's being interviewed on the subway. It's like this series of subway interviews. And he gives a great answer on that, where you can't, the Beatles are like an entity together. So it's impossible to say favorite Beatle because the Beatles are so great because of their different personalities. So it's like, you know, who do you want to meditate with? Oh, I want to meditate with George. You know, who do you want to like jam with? Like maybe Paul. Who do you want to go to a party with? Ringo. You know, who do you want to like banter with? John Lennon. You know, or whatever. Like, it's crazy. You couldn't really answer. You know, Paul's had the most. You know, Paul's the greatest legacy because he's done the most and has been a lot. You know, Ringo's great, but you know, Paul's been alive. Like Paul waves that Beatles flag like at all his shows more than ever. You know, he plays the Beatles songs. He keeps them alive. He's had the most prolific solo career because he's done the most by being alive. So you can't compare him because the other ones didn't live as long, but Paul did the most. I have different pedal boards, and we're going to wrap this up, but I'm just going to take this. Hello, people. Hello. That's Matt over there. Moderating is just like, you know, He's on eBay right now. He's picking out onesies for the multitude of kids he has.
Yep.
Diaper run, diapers, everything. But no, I don't have one set pedal board. But this is what I was using today, if you were curious. I've got a clean channel, just purely clean channel on the Boss Katana. Maybe you guys want to see that. Oh. Check out that guitar, though. All the different signatures. Pretty cool. Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace. This box here is not doing anything. It just looks interesting. But anyone that's got a Boss Katana, this is what I would do if you have a Boss Katana. I'm on the half power, but full power, half power, that doesn't matter. I would go to, first things first, clean channel right there. This isn't how it probably is, but gain would be here. Gain and volume, you know, I'm just going for a really clean tone. So gain, not even halfway up. Volume, not all the way up. Bass, these aren't how they really are because it was on a preset. So these have been moved around, but if I had to like set it up, you know, the cues, I like to just go halfway on all of them. And if your guitar in the room you're in is like too crispy, too bright, I might turn the treble down a little, might turn the middle up a little bit, but it's really just mostly staying 50-50 because you also have tone controls on your guitar. The booster and the mods, you need to plug your computer in to like set what those are, but typically it'd be like delay and chorus. I turn those all the way down. Oh, that's effects and delay, so that's the other one. I mean, I have like great patches that are based on songs that would use this function, but like what you heard today, I would have these all the way down, these all the way down, and then reverb, that is about where I would have the reverb. Presence, because it's a digital amp, I actually turn the presence all the way down, because one of the problems with like a digital modeler like this is they tend to sound more brittle than a tube amp. Well, they definitely do. So I would turn the presence all the way down. So that's what you heard. And then master is just the final volume. So like, how loud do you freaking want it, right? So that's basically what you heard today. Then, like the delay on the live stream. Nice hands. Hand model over here. So then what you were hearing, this is a newer thing because it actually is more a Trey Anastasio thing, and that is a compressor. When I was doing lead today, I had a compressor, but this is brand new. I've had compressors in the past, and this compressor you can barely hear. It's because that's blend, and it's almost all the way down. And then the sustain is the amount of compression. That's almost all the way down. Level and tone are about 50%. So I'm literally adding like the least amount of compression that you could add, but having it on there. And then this is a kind of Nashville musician pedal, the Nobles Overdrive. Great, crunchy, warm overdrive pedal. Kind of like a tube screamer, but less nasally. And then this is my Schwarzenegger Overdrive. They've got these fat, extra little pedal covers on them that were from D'Addario for some video we did, I guess. But this is one of my favorite. It's my own. If you look closer, it's got my logo on it. It's the Schwarzenegger. The only problem with these things is you can't see the name. But these kind of protect the trigger pedal, keeps them alive longer. But look, the Schwarzenegger. People ask me if I like Terminator or Predator more. Clearly Terminator. So that's a really great clean boost and overdrive pedal, but the Nobles gives you more overdrive. The Schwarzenegger clean boost of that overdrive, you can do that. Little mini wah pedal, compressor. The Albi Bach delay pedal. That's for a very light amount of slapback, sometimes on lead guitar. And then a real basic loop station looper pedal. So what you were hearing anytime I was playing today, I was doing that. The Nobles and the compressor. I think in the very first jam, I might have had that, but you barely hear that delay. So really you're just hearing that Nobles overdrive today. But most in the past, you've mostly heard the Schwarzenegger overdrive. Now, the Schwarzenegger overdrive is not available anymore, but I've got about 4 of them here. It's what I always use. I just am so used to them. I know what they sound like, etc. All right, we're about to hit 2 hours. Switch this back here. I have noticed there is a trend where people will live stream for like hours and hours and just go, and they get a lot of views that way. I'm pretty exhausted by playing the YouTube algorithm game. I think most everyone I know is sick of it. And they've taken the power out of the content creators' hands as much as possible, which I'm fine with. I mean, it's frustrating, but that's why I'm doing all the martymusic.com focus now. More courses. BB King, inspired by BB King. That's coming out next week. And martymusic.com, the community, everything over there. Check it out. It's now November. Sales of Chiron intro solo lesson. That's another thing about this whole YouTube algorithm, YouTube game. Like newer lessons, like song tutorials, they're not doing well anymore. But I've also, so like that, whatever you just mentioned, I've never even heard of that. Sales of Chiron. I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is. It would do terrible on my channel. So I'm not going to do it. The rat pedal is a good overdrive. It's a good distortion pedal, rat pedal. I have one somewhere. Do I have one here? I think. Oh, it's upstairs. It's up in the house. Thank you, Ross Rayner. I appreciate that nice comment. 15411. Hello there. Sadar Basaran. I'm sure it's a great song, but it won't do well on my channel. One more question. I've been rocking the Katana over a year now, playing gigs, rehearsals, playing home. Is the new Katana really that much better and big change? It definitely sounds better. Is it worth it if you already have one? It's so hard for me to say. I don't know your budget, your situation. I've really been enjoying that. I do feel like the newer ones are a little warmer. But is it worth getting when you already have one that's working well? It's hard. I don't want to answer that. I love Freddie King. I've never tried an Ibanez Jiva, Hiva, whatever it is. Thank you so much. Should I get a Strat or a Les Paul? Close your eyes. Imagine yourself playing guitar. Do you sound more like Hendrix or do you sound more like Jimmy Page and Billy Gibbons and Slash? Do you sound more like Hendrix and John Frusciante or do you sound more like Slash and Jimmy Page? Or do you want to sound more like them? Marshall Half Stack, that's super fun. That's the one thing I've never owned a Marshall. Never, ever owned a Marshall. That would be fun. I've played through them, and they're super fun. Especially a big one cranked all the way. I like Slash, but I sound like Jimmy. Well, then you need to get a Les Paul. I was just at this is about another question. I was just at a vintage antique shop here in Nashville. So not a guitar store, not a music store, but they had a whole guitar section. And there were 4 different Yamaha acoustics in there used in a antique store for about $150 each. And they played amazing. I almost bought one just because of how well it played and how cheap it was. You know, that's like three Starbucks. 3 Starbucks orders or a Yamaha acoustic. Fender amp versus Katana. Well, Katana, straight up, Boss and Katana, they sponsor me. Fender doesn't sponsor me. So I'll just leave it at that. Yamaha, their acoustics are really impressive especially for that used price. You can go into some antique shop and find like the ones I saw. Brody Dunn, thanks for the super chat. You're getting your first electric. Jackson Misha Mansour Juggernaut HT7 and drop F sharp. Get it on. Bro, you are the legend. All caps. Homer 2355. I like you. I can tell I like you. I like you a lot. I like you a lot. I'm still going back and forth between San Diego and Nashville. Sam C4451. Which 2 amps would you combo for a live rock setup? Large Man 2010. You're goated, Marty. Thank you. Still waiting for that official certificate in the mail on that. 2 amp setup. It'd be kind of fun to do like a Marshall and a Fender tube amp. You have 2 different sounds to go to. I mean, if we're just like fantasizing, which I think we are. Squire has great guitars, you know. Like I work with Gibson, but they don't like say I'm not allowed to say stuff about other brands. And Boss has treated me so great, but they don't say, but you can't, you know, don't say anything about the Yamahas, or don't say anything about Marshall or whatever. They're just not like that. But also, when you're treated really well, you just naturally have loyalty to those people that treat you well. Gibson has been amazing. Divided by 13 amps are like really high-end boutique amps. The original makers of those sold the company to 2 Rock. So I don't have any connection to Divided by 13 anymore. And the owner, right before he sold it, came to my house and took my Divided by 13 and didn't give it back. He said he was going to fix it up, and then I never heard from him again. Yeah, Epiphone to Gibson is what Squire is to Fender. It's a more affordable entry-level division. And the whole Divided by 13 thing, that's just the truth. That's not me giving my opinion about what happened. Like, I was already using Boss Katanas as being sponsored, so, you know, I did use the Divided by 13, like, on my own, not in videos. It's a great amp. But that guy sold the company, so maybe 2 Rock wanted that one from all my videos, because it's got probably 1 billion people watch that amp, you know, 1 billion different views on that one amp. Maybe they just wanted it, or he wanted it. I don't really know. It definitely wouldn't, like, be of, like, extra value because it was in those videos, at least not now. Maybe someday someone would be interested in that. I don't really know. I didn't think much about it. I just go on. I don't focus on the past. I try not to. Can't help it sometimes, but I try and move forward with things in life. Fretless guitars be mass-produced? I have no idea. Remember the OG videos with the Divided by 13, but you sold me on the Boss Katana. I had to get one after watching you review it. I'm telling you, man, I've gigged with the Katana, and if you set it up the way I just showed you a little while ago, and with some good pedals, everyone thinks I'm not really using one. It sounds that good. But you have to know, like, how to set it up. Like, for that situation. But then if you're a bedroom player or a beginner, you can download those patches that sound like different famous songs without any pedals, and it's super fun and it stimulates your creativity. What do I think about Orange Amp? Haven't played the Orange Amp a lot. Marcus King was using them a lot, and I'm sure I plugged through one of his. Of course, it's Marcus King. He could play through anything. I think of Orange as a more hard rock, kind of more dirty sound, and I like a more Fender clean sound. What's your thoughts on NAM and IR? I have no thoughts because I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is, Matt? NAM and IR? Attenuators. Attenuators are pretty good. Frusciante was a great inspiration for me in playing, yes. But I liked him the most before I played guitar, or like the peak of me listening to all the Chili Peppers with Frusciante was before I played guitar. So I was just in awe of him, and I didn't even know I'd ever play guitar, much less be able to do some of his riffs or whatever. What's the newest piece of equipment I've purchased? Matt, do you know the newest piece of equipment I purchased?
A Cat 5 cable to run up here.
Oh. Ethernet cable?
Ethernet cable, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they mean. Favorite Red Hot Chili Pepper song?
Actually, that would be that compressor, right?
Oh, yeah, this compressor. Newest piece of gear. Yes, that compressor. Out of all your guitarists, which is your favorite child? I think he means guitars. Tom Morello, is he the best guitar player? I don't think so. And neither am I. So I think he's written some great stuff. Favorite Cure song? You've been asking this the whole stream. Favorite Cure song? Oof. I don't know. Do you have a favorite Cure song, Matt?
On the way over here, Friday I'm in Love was on. I mean, that song.
Friday I'm in Love is really good.
Really good song.
It's a really good song. So I was gonna say Boys Don't Cry. The riff is it's pretty damn good. Love Song is amazing. Lullaby. Can I have some tips because I struggle a lot with transitioning to C chord? Well, start the C chord with the third finger on the A string. Start with that and let the other fingers land after, and then make sure you're using the tips of your fingers and arched fingers. Thank you guys. The Cure coming back. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. All right, I think we've reached the end, folks. This is the end. The lovely end, my friend. Favorite Zeppelin song? Dang, dude. Why you gotta do me like that? I don't know, dude. Honestly, Kashmir is pretty freaking amazing. It's like an obvious answer, but... And a Whole Lot of Love. Black Dog. I mean, just can never pick. Good Times, Bad Times. That riff is so fun to play. Are you going to play more guitar? No, I'm done. I'm off the clock. I clocked out. Enjoy your night. David Stewart, YTWILLZ. Terry Davenport, Guitar Ted. Oh, I get it. Jake the Snake, Hungry Kitty Nom Nom. Okay. Martin Chug, 2189. I prefer 60s Les Paul. Kathy Annon. Josh Norco, thanks. Peace and love. Peace and love. Tarn VR, Joy Murray, Walking Squid 145, Jacob KO 221, Shay Love 1815, Bert from Belgium, Marlo Mayer 33, Production TMN, Tarn VR, King of Nothing 634, Greg Levinson, thank you. Ted Fitzgerald 3153. Lola Murcho 8516. Browser 4x4. Jacob KO 221. That sounds like a stormtrooper name. Jacob KO 221. Why aren't you at your post? Terry Davenport, do you go to the Melting Pot? I don't know that. Is that in Nashville or something? Melting Pot?
Yeah, I think it's downtown.
I don't think I've been there.
Yeah, what do they call it? The fondue. It's like a fondue.
Oh. Which band got better where a key original member got better? Like where someone left? I don't know. My brain's too tired to answer that one. I have to think too much. Yeah, we're going to get out of here. Matt's got stuff to do. I'm just keeping him here. He can't leave. He's hostage. Good rock guitar lessons for beginners. TNT by AC/DC. Tarn VR says, I got my first guitar and I've learned some basic songs. What are some harder songs I should learn? I got my first guitar and I learned some basic songs. What are some harder songs that I should learn? Annie Zeppelin. All right. We're out of here. Thanks, guys. 3, 2, 1.